It's about 25 days left until we move to Japan. And I've gotten some questions about how we're actually moving, how did the application process go, etc. So I'm going to show you how we went from moving to Japan being just a thought in our head to actually moving there. Alright, so it was back in the late summer of 2014. And we had just started getting hooked on Japanese culture and a lot of other things, the music scene over there. And this was the first time we started kind of joking around with the idea of moving to Japan. We studied a little bit of Japanese on our own, but in the beginning we mostly just played around with the thought. Then after a while we started considering it more seriously, and so we tried to find out, well, what ways are there and how easy is it to move to Japan, really? Turns out that by doing it on your own, it can be very difficult, and it can be very difficult to find some good information as well. Very quickly, however, we found Gogo Nihon. Gogo Nihon is a company that helps you with the application process to move and study in Japan. And as you may know, that is the easiest way to get into Japan is by studying. So in this case, it's studying Japanese at a language school in Japan. So they have all these different schools that they collaborate with, not only in Tokyo, but also in Osaka, in Kyoto. And there are trailers for every school, so you can enter each one, read a little bit about it. Some include studying at a very rapid pace, while others take it more slowly, so it's really a matter of taste and just which one gives you the best impression. So basically you choose one of these schools and then you just inform Gogo Nihon that you want to go for it. And they don't only help out with finding a school to study at, but they also help you find the accommodation. And there are different options as well. So you can choose everything from a room in a shared house to your own apartment to living with a Japanese family. It all depends on your preferences and your budget. So you basically just get in contact with Gogo Nihon, you explain what you want to do, they will help you through the whole process step by step by sending you all the documents needed, all the forms you have to fill in. So they help you out with everything, and you just basically have to sit there waiting for the next email to arrive. And the best thing about this is that Gogo Nihon doesn't charge you anything for the help. Gogo Nihon has a lot of instructional videos, and even a lot of the forms that they send you also has like an instructional video that can help you out. They always answer the emails very quickly, so it's really easy to get any questions answered very quickly. So on December 14th, 2015, we sent in an email to Gogo Nihon telling them about our plans and what we wished to, that we were 3 guys from Sweden that wanted to study Japanese in Tokyo, and preferably at the same school. On December 16th, we got our first response, and we filled in some application forms where we wrote some general information, personal information, how much experience we had in Japanese, educational history, working experience, past trips to Japan, and stuff like that. Along with the documents, we also sent in copies of our passports, photos of ourselves, and a copy of our grades from school in Sweden. And all these documents and things were then sent to the school we applied to in Japan. Out of 4 different periods, we decided to start studying in July 2016. And you really don't need to contact Gogo Nihon this early on, but we wanted to get in contact with them quickly because we like to take these things slowly and easy so that everything goes as smoothly as possible. So since we weren't in any hurry, and since we had to wait for some new passports, since they were about to expire, we sent in all the stuff by the middle of January. Then on January 25th, we got approved to study at the school we applied to. So that was the first thing that made the whole thing feel real all of a sudden. It was not just this thought in your head. It was actually something was really happening. So what was left to do was to apply for study allowances, get our visa done, and then find an accommodation. And however, the Japanese Migration Agency doesn't send out the visa certificate until about 1 month before you start school. So we had a few months of basically just having to wait for the time to come. After a couple of months, on April 13th, Gogo Nihon gave us the documents sent by the school that we needed to apply for study allowances here in Sweden. So once that was green-lighted, we could then move on to booking a flight and stuff like that. So the next step that's probably the thing we are the most luckiest with, which is that living in Sweden makes it very easy to finance this whole thing. In Sweden, everybody can study by applying for grants, for loans, or both. And that covers the cost of the school, the education, accommodation, and everything you need to survive. So we filled in the application to CSN, which deals with these study grants and loans here in Sweden. And on April 19th, we got approved. So after that, we booked a flight, awaiting the next step, which was fixing the visa, which we couldn't do until the migration agency sends out the visa certificates. Then on May 23rd, we got the last forms to fill in to be sent to the Japanese embassy here in Stockholm. We got the visa certificate sent from Japan. And yeah, if you watched the previous videos, you know that we fixed all of that in the previous days. So now we're just waiting for the embassy to contact us, telling us that they put the visa in our passports, and then that's it. And also about a week ago, we started the search for a good accommodation. And so it works like that you fill in a form where you write down your preferences and your possibilities. Then Nihon gave us 3 suggestions on 3 different accommodations based on our preferences. And if you're not sure about the first 3 suggestions, you can mail them back and they give you new suggestions. It's very easy, they really help you out. But even if they wouldn't help out with the accommodation was actually pretty easy to find, especially through Oakhouse. Here you can find all the available apartments, shared houses, whatever you would need. And when we found what we wanted, we just messaged Nihon, and then Nihon messaged Oakhouse and deal with all of that. Then Oakhouse contacted us, we paid the contract fees, stuff like that, and then we set up an appointment for meeting up when we arrived to Tokyo. So that's about it, and if you have any questions about our case, please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will respond to it as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you have any plans in moving to Japan as a language student, I definitely recommend checking out Nihon and getting in contact with them. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching.